G'day you good motherfuckers, the Buttsman here. And as of 2019, there may no longer be little boys and girls born in Australia. What the fuck? Yes, this is real life, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you that right bloody now. If Tasmanian Parliament has its way, your gender will no longer be listed on your birth certificate. No more gender reveals for little pregnant people on Instagram to get likes. No more, oh, what are you having? I'm having nothing. I'm having a little grey baby. I know what you're thinking. What the fuck? This is fucking ridiculous, but this is also real fucking life. And behind this movement is Labor and the Greens in Tasmania. They want amendments made to the law immediately to stop people being so offended by male and female babies. And I mean, removing the idea of gender from children seems like a very big change to make just to suit a very small segment of the population who are trans, intersex, or don't conform to the normal gender ideals. I'm trying to say that in a way that doesn't offend people, because I have people who are transgender who message me. And it's always really positive. They say, thank you for not trying to pander to our group or trying to make us feel special. I mean, most people who are transgender, I think they just want to get on with their lives. And I think you'll find the people behind these laws and behind these changes and behind this movement aren't transgender at all. That's a bit fucking weird, isn't it? It's just another great example of why identity politics is complete fucking bullshit. People are trying to compete to be the most oppressed. They want to win that race for some strange reason. And if you want to be seen as someone who's progressive, then you need to give in to any demand made by someone who is oppressed. Now, the majority of states already have gender-neutral options on birth certificates. In case your baby is not born male or female, it is born intersex or unknown or other. And I get that for some babies that is true. I'm not sure of the exact percentage of babies who are born intersex, but they exist and they should have an avenue to choose what gender they are. But to have something available where a mother and father chooses their baby to be other or unknown, particularly in a situation where it is not warranted, is dangerous for that baby. That's so fucking confusing for a small child growing up not knowing if they're a boy or a girl. Because this is the thing, we're pretending that there's a problem with being boys or girls. It stems back to the idea that this is all constructed socially. That men and women, that boys and girls don't actually exist. It just happens through the toys you play with, or the language you use, or the friends you have, which we all know is utter bullshit. We all know this is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And it's so fucking ridiculous that even a government senator has decided to jump behind it and say that men and women should be able to play together in sporting codes like the NRL or the AFL, which is hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Are you kidding me? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Also making news, calls for mixed gender sports. Now, Government Senator Linda Reynolds has sparked debate this morning, saying it's time for elite sports like AFL, NRL and rugby union to introduce mixed male and female competitions. Carla, what do you reckon?
Well, I've recently just done a fitness test at my gym that I work at as well with my husband, and he drinks rum, he eats terribly, and yet he beat me by 1 point on this test, which is meant to take into account your fitness and your weight and your bone density and all that sort of stuff. It really annoyed me, but what it came down to was the sheer physiology. He's a man, he has more muscle mass than me, he's stronger than me, and even though I might be fitter than him, when you add all that stuff up, he's still going to be harder if I was in a contact sport with him than I ever would, even though I push harder than him and I'm fitter than him. So is it a great idea? Probably not, just for the sheer physics of it and how we're made up. But of course, I'd love to see men and women compete on the same stage. And if there is a woman out there that can take down the best NRL player, I would watch it. I would pay my dollars to watch it. But
could you imagine a world where that happens? The AFL and the NRL have both brought in women's competitions, which is great. Good fucking on them, okay? They're arguing for equal pay, which is also hilarious, but we'll move on for that for another time. Bring the same amount of crowds, and then you can get whatever you're fucking worth. I think that's a pretty legitimate argument. If it's in sports like weightlifting or fucking chess, who gives a shit? But in sports where you can suffer concussions, where you can get hurt, where any of those type of situations arise, no. Don't fucking play against a woman. Ladies, don't play against a bloke. And I think we can all agree that men and women are not created equally. I know that is unfortunate and goes against all the feminist ideologies in the world, but they're just not. Men have denser bones. Men have more testosterone, all right? They're bigger people. How does that not make fucking sense? And as far as transgender athletes, listen, if you're a transgender man or a woman and you want to play in the opposite sport, okay, I understand why you'd want to do that. That makes complete sense. And as I said before, if you're doing weightlifting, go for it, even though you beating them is a little bit sus, or cycling is a little bit sus. But for sports, such as the AFL, we saw a transgender athlete trying to play in the women's AFL. That's just not fucking happening. No, you can't. I know it sucks. I know it's horrible because you are a woman now, and that's great. Good on you. I hope you're really happy in your own life. But you can't be... Surely within yourself, you can't... It's a hard fucking subject. I get that, okay? It's a hard fucking subject. But how can you think within your own being that it is okay for you to go up and, you know, potentially hurt people that are much smaller than you? So why the fuck is all this happening all of a sudden? Why are all these social justice warriors swarming to Australia? We've seen it overseas, but now it is happening right fucking here, and it can all be traced back to one very particular video. They day, they day, they day.
I love gender neutral pronouns. I've been using them for, I don't know, maybe 10 years. What I love is that I think gender neutral pronouns best reflect my gender identity. So when people use them, I feel really affirmed and really like myself.
For me, they make me happy. I feel happy when people refer to me as they because it feels true to myself.
And maybe they are defined by those classic gender roles, but it's not necessarily who they are, I guess.
You are also able to broaden the gender pronoun spectrum as well, so you're not restricting it to anything in specific. So normally you would say, oh, well, with boys and girls, or he and her, that kind of thing. You're actually saying they, which will expand that out to include any and all people under the gender spectrum.
You know, for a world and a culture that hasn't really done a really good job of having anything other than highly gendered pronouns, using they it's a really good option, and I feel the way in which people are using it opens up the word and opens up the language, and because so many people use it with different identities and backgrounds, it's even if you're still using they, it's still got a question mark of you need to know me more before you can make any assumptions.
Did you know using the word he or she is extremely offensive? Fuck me. What a time to be alive. Yes, gender neutral pronouns are taking over the country and social justice warriors everywhere are coming in their pants. What a great fucking world to live in, ladies and gentlemen, where the most offensive thing that you can say to someone is misgendering them. The conversation was recently ignited into a very impressive flame by the Victorian Government, who put forward this video and this idea of They Day. And I think that's a great idea. So on They Day, whenever They Day is, I haven't done that research, it's probably already been, who gives a shit, I will be known as Zir. Zir is a gender neutral pronoun, and I don't know what it means, but there's about 600,000 of the fucking things. So I'm going to be Zir, Zir Butterfield, and it's a pleasure to be here. Zir, yeah, they're all words. Zir, zer, are all new words. So get your fucking dictionaries out and do some learning, you oppressive fucks. This is a slippery slope. We saw this in Canada, where it became a human rights violation to deliberately misgender someone. Now, okay, that's being a bit of a dick to not call someone by their preferred whatever, but, and don't get me wrong, I would do that. Jesus Christ, it's a weird fucking thing, right? Because as a nice person, I think of myself as a pretty nice person, right? A pretty level-headed person. I would like to call you by whatever you decide you want to be called, right? That's just a nice thing to do. But to be made to do it by law, to have speech dictated toward you, to say, for a government to say to you, you have to say this or you could be locked up or fined, is fucked up. And where does that leave me if that happens in Australia? What happens to these videos? What happens to my stand-up? Do I have to become one of those Melbourne comedians who jokes about trams 24/7? I fucking hope not, because they're all fuckwits. Come and get me, bitches. And as I said before, it's very difficult to learn the types of gender neutral pronouns that people want. Sie, ze, sie, she, die, fee. They're just fucking made up words. And yes, I know all words are made up, but you can't just make up words and start throwing them in dictionaries, and if people don't fucking use them, then you get locked up. That's bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. That is fucking bullshit. And it doesn't stop there. There's other types of people that want to be known as other things. Have you heard of foxkin? Horsekin? Have you heard of fucking wormking? There are people in the world, human beings, that want to be known as worms. They feel that within every fibre of their being, they're not beings, they're worms. Yes, serious. I am serious. See these eyes? Fucking serious. So what are we going to do? Are we going to bend over and just go, yeah, sure, you're a fucking worm, good on you, champ? No, you can't do that. You can't just, because these people are having a laugh. That's what they're doing. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're dead serious. And maybe being known as a worm or a zee makes them happy. And if it makes you happy, then that's great. But you can't rely on external stimulus to make yourself happy, because you never will truly be happy then. You have to find it within yourself. That's where your happiness lies. And I know I'm sounding a bit like a Buddha, but it's fucking true. Anyway, I've waffled on for far too long, ladies and gentlemen, and it's far too hot in this studio right now. The sweat patches under my arms at the moment are enormous. Anyway, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Your dick stinks, as you know, the sign. If you don't know what this sign fucking means, I know there it is. People freak out about the sign. Oh, why has it got no, I don't know what the words mean on it. Go back. At the start, I didn't have enough letters. They didn't give me enough letters to write me dick stinks. So now it's fucking Dr. Tizdink. Dr. Tizdink, right? Be a good motherfucker. Talk to Goodbye.